Lesson 27 Sound. Let's begin by looking at the difference between sound and noise. Sometimes these words are interchangeable, but not always. A sound can be pleasant, neutral, or unpleasant, but noise is always either neutral or unpleasant. I woke up to the lovely sound of my wife playing the piano. That's pleasant. I could hear the soft sound of their voices in the other room. That's neutral. The fighting cats make horrible screeching sounds. That's unpleasant. I can't hear you. There's a lot of background noise. Could you call me back? That's neutral. My car is making a annoying buzzing noise whenever I turn on the AC. That's unpleasant. If a noise or a sound is very strong, we can describe it as a loud sound or noise. And if it's really intense, then we can describe it as a deafening sound or noise. On the other hand, if we can barely hear it, then it's in faint or soft sound or noise. There's also a muffled sound that seems when it seems that something is blocking the sound. Noise that doesn't stop is called constant or incessant noise. You'll hear this type of noise if your house is close to the highway, for example. You hear the roar of traffic day and night. If you work in a factory, then you might hear the hum of machinery all day long. And if you live next door to the college students, you probably hear the music blaring and they party every night. Nature is full of noises too, such as birds chirping and dogs barking. If you sit near the ocean, you can listen to the waves crashing. When you're in a remote, deserted area, you might hear the wind whistling through the trees. And if there's a storm, you'll hear the rumble of thunder, or be scared by a sudden thunderclap. Now let's talk about the absence of sound. There's a difference between the words quiet and silent. Quiet means that there is very little noise, whereas silence means there is no noise at all. You can emphasize the totality of the silence by saying that it was absolutely, completely, or perfectly silent. When it begins to be silent, you can say that silence descended or fell, and then when a noise interrupts the silence, it breaks or shatters the silence. It also common to use collocation to give an emotional tone to the quiet or silent. The kids were oddly, strangely, or uncharacteristically quiet. The fact that it's quiet is unusual, not normal. His joke about sex were followed by an awkward, uncom- un- uncomfortable silence. The silence is due to the embarrassment. After yelling at her brother, she slapped into a stony or sully silence. The silence is due to anger. There was a shocked, stunned silence after the president announced his resignation. The silence is due to extreme surprise. The city becomes almostly or eerily quiet after midnight. The quiet is frightening and possibly dangerous.